welcome to the book of Enoch, where we're going through the book of Enoch, verse by verse, because the book of Enoch is by far the best example of what it'll be like in the end times, the days of Noah. He was a great-grandfather of Noah. And where we are at is angels had fallen, 200 of them, and they had laid with women, married them, and gave race to giants, a race of Nephilim, who then devoured mankind, and they taught them the secrets of the universe, the secrets of metalworking, making weapons, warfare, the stars, the moons, jewelry, makeup, precious stones, everything that really makes mankind want to build his own kingdom. And then that's what they did, and they mutilated mankind, they enslaved mankind. And when mankind couldn't keep up to provide for them, they ate mankind. And this is a lot of what it'll look like in the days of Noah. And then what we saw last time is that 4 angels, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, they then are bringing their cause to God. And that's where we left off. And last time we talked about how important it is to recognize who God is before you bring your case to him. So we're just going to pick it up where we left off. We'll go to chapter 9, verse 6. Thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Semzizah, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has hereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regards to these. So what they're saying is, okay, God, you see all this. Like, they're not coming to God saying, okay, God, have you seen God? Have you seen this stuff? Because God, of course, sees all things. But what they're saying is, thou does not say to us what we are to do to them in regards to these. So they're standing there watching this saying, well, God hadn't told us what to do. Now, I think there's a couple very important lessons to learn from that. Sometimes we have to be obedient and wait for God's direction. You know, there's been so many times that I've even shared on this channel where I just am sitting waiting. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just waiting for God to tell me what to do. But the other piece is, these are soldiers. They will do whatever God tells them to do. And if that means stand there and watch mankind be mutilated and eaten and enslaved, that's just what that is. You know, because angels will only do exactly what God says to do. And there's this level of worship in the world of angels, like my guardian angel, praise, let me call out to my guardian angel. If you have a guardian angel, it's only there, or he's only there because God told him to be there. And if God tells him to stop guarding over you, he's going to start guarding over you. And a lot of it has to do with our righteousness and how obedient we are to God. It's, when we're asking for protection, and we're asking for provision, and we're asking for God to fight battles for us, we can't go to him with our sinful nature. We have to go to him in righteousness. So we have to take a moment and cry out, Jesus, forgive us for our sin. Cleanse us with your blood. Then we can approach him. And that's a critical piece of the way sin brings death that you might not have thought about, is that sin often brings the protection away, the guardianship away. God can heal all things. He can stop all things. He can save all things. And now, if the bad things happen to you, I'm not saying it's because of your sinful nature. Bad things happen to everybody on this earth. because there's a battle between principalities of good and evil taking place literally over the souls of men. And we're a victim of that. We're a product of what we were brought up in. We are literally a product of the world we were raised in, which is a sinful, brutal battle over good and evil that we kind of are blind to until we begin to open our eyes to the reality of what's taking place. And in this moment, what they're saying is, thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest all things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. So it's important that we continue to bring our cause to God. It's important that we continue to bring our prayers to God. It's important that we continue to bring these things to God, but in righteousness. And I'm just as guilty. I mean, I think any pastor on the planet, the Pope, anybody, you put their sins on a screen behind them while they preach, they'll run off the stage in embarrassment and fear, because it's real. And God knoweth all things, and he seeth all things. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest all things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regards to these. And then we just have to sit and wait. And it's important we be able to achieve this kind of mindset before tribulation comes. But come to him with a heart of forgiveness.